Buddy,
What's going on? What's happening? What's power?
this is the Black in a Minute podcast brought to y'all by the illustrious Twymon Art, which they just recently had their grand opening the last 2 days. So we definitely in full effect. I'm gonna wait to get some people on here. How y'all been doing? I know for some people this is spring break.
Is it?
And if it isn't, it's coming, Some people's was this week, others is next week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, being out of college and school, I do not keep up with these things anymore.
Get me started online.
Dog, the only reason I know is for the sake of the job.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, kids is out on spring break. That means early visits, baby. I ain't got to be out all night sometimes. But realistically, this is a little subject that, you kind of brought to the table this time.
Yeah, man. Look, I just been here lately. I've been having a lot of different thoughts just ruminating on my mind.
Right.
And what seems to be the most recurring theme of all the different thoughts that I've had on my mind lately is just having the ability to focus, despite so many different prevailing thoughts.
Right.
I ain't gonna rap to y'all just yet, but
nah, we'll get to that. We're gonna get to that later.
And we ain't even gonna keep you all night because I'm kind of just like I'm not at 100%, but that's okay. That's okay.
In reference to in reference to that, y'all keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I recently lost my uncle Ricky. Y'all probably heard me talk about him at least a couple times in the midst of podcasts and stuff like that. Definitely a big part of my life. It's my grandmother's youngest brother too, and that kind of been affecting her as well. So
thoughts and prayers.
Yes, indeed. So I don't even know the details of where everything's going to be going with that, but it's ironic that you bring up focus because I know the way I rationalized it when I heard the news was I know what he would want me to be thinking right now. I know what he would want me to be focusing on. I know what he would want me to be trying to do right now. And that's definitely staying focused, definitely making sure that I'm maintaining whatever grind I'm trying to maintain, doing what I'm supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because he was always big on that. He was always very big on, you handle your business. You do what you're supposed to do. You go to school, you get your job, you grind, You don't give an excuse to say, oh, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. No, you get up and go do it.
Okay. Good words to live by for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to those of y'all who are joining in with us early. Hello.
Yes,
how
indeed.
You doing?
What's up? Hello, Kiki Nikoru. What's good?
How you doing, Kiki?
I enjoy saying that last name just because Japanese is awesome. Interesting thing that's completely off subject. I had to go back and get my laptop from this church that I was playing at. And I forgot that they've started renting their building out to a Hispanic church, right? Okay. So when I came back, because I came back from my church to go over there, I accidentally walked into like the initial invocation of their service. It was interesting because I've never before actually witnessed like a full prayer in Spanish. Like it was kind of cool, like And naturally, you don't want to be disrespectful or nothing, so I'm just standing there, I'm just waiting, I'm just chilling. It's funny because look, the kids in there looking at me going, hey. But it's like, man, oh, Kiki Nikoru said, I'm good, you guys good, and I love how it sounds too. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be toying around with samples again.
I'm all right. I'm maintaining.
Right. We making it. We making it.
I'm maintaining, man.
Yeah. Let's see.
Shout out to those of y'all who are with us right now. If you are with us, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you at, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Help us fight the YouTube algorithm. We little
Right.
people.
Right. We trying to be big. We trying to get big out here. But you know, it was interesting because look, old age setting in on. Look, you know what? Yeah, it is. I ain't gonna cap. I found a gray hair in my beard again. I know there's one in the back of my head somewhere.
I'm finally to the point where you're starting to get old, where like you look around and most people are 5 to 10 years younger than you. When you actually get in an environment like that,
Dog.
and it ain't even majority like young people.
Right. When your superiors are like 22, yeah.
It's partially old age. A lot of it is that. It's
a little bit of a few different things.
Yeah.
No cap. Like, I don't know, man. It's weird.
Life got a funny way of shit testing.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that. Because honestly, said, man, I got a few in my beard now, but it's a sign of wisdom, right? Look, I'm trying to get gray like my grandmother did, to where hers, even now, they still just look like highlights. You know, let me get it like that. You know, I ain't trying to have like them awkward grays that just pop up somewhere where you just look like you old for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Because dog, that's trash.
Makes sense.
Right. Let me get that part of my gene pool, right? But yeah, man, you know, the concept of focus is such a big thing.
Facts.
It's such a big thing. And I think sometimes we belittle its importance. If not just because it's easy to say, oh, stay focused. Oh, I stay focused. No, you don't. A lot of us, we live in a day and age and we live in a world where focus is hard to come by.
Yeah, distractions are everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is the internet age. Mm-hmm. You know, most of us are young adults and or settling into adulthood.
Right.
Shout out to the few Gen Z people that mess with the podcast and rock with us. But
right.
Our audience is mostly people who are 25 to like 35, somewhere in there. So millennials.
Mm-hmm.
So for y'all, you know, we got the benefit of having the last little bit of the low tech before the high tech really came.
Yeah.
So
we got a benefit of both worlds.
Yeah, we didn't stuck our toes in both ends of the pool.
Right.
And you know,
it's different.
Man, listen. Because you know, a lot of people don't realize, and at one point in time I was in denial of it too, but you know, social media is a very interesting facet of the internet in terms of how it essentially robs us of our focus.
Yes.
And attention.
Look, anybody who has scrolled through TikTok for any amount of time can attest to that.
Man, I got it on my phone, and I'll go on there every once in a blue moon.
I used to avoid it.
I only do it now because of the podcast.
I used to avoid it like the plague, but now it's like, man.
Before this, I didn't
let's
even
see what it's about.
I didn't even touch it at all. Like I would watch them when people would send me them.
Yeah.
But I don't have a personal account, and anytime I look at TikTok, I think back to my Snapchat days.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you like. I kind of teeter for those of y'all who don't know me personally. I'm in that weird ambivertish type of place where I can be amongst people and interact. You know, I can mingle and be all that, but preferably I'm to myself and I'm kind of close off. I don't have time to deal with that shit. In fact, most of my online presence today, I would say a good 60-70% of it is rooted primarily in the podcast and the stuff we do for this.
Right.
In terms of regular social media, I don't really be on this shit like that.
Right.
And overall, if I'm being honest, I kind of hate it. Man.
This man said sit on Snapchat with something else. Ooh. Sir.
That gave me goosebumps. I jumped a little bit.
Sir. Was you acting up? Ooh.
Y'all know for the most part I'm candy. That was when I was That was when I was going through some things, and when I was experimenting with ways to cope.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a time. That was my Charlie Sheen time.
Oh no!
That was like,
Tiger Blood.
Yes. Winning. That was my winning time.
Right.
And you know, I was still on Twitter then. I don't even have no Twitter. I ain't had no Twitter account in like 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the same for about Snapchat.
Right.
All I have these days is Facebook and Instagram.
Right. I just dropped the question of the day, and we'll probably expand on it. What things can you identify that hinder your focus?
Yeah. Shout out to those of y'all who are just joining us.
Yes.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Shout out to our Twitch. To the people over there on Twitch, we appreciate y'all because a lot of people don't be on the Twitch like that. So anytime I see a Twitch person,
we trying to get there, man. We trying to get there.
What up to Twitch?
I want to get there because they cool. Like maybe we should start doing. I don't know. Maybe we should do Black in a Minute Let's Plays. Like
that'd be interesting.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to do like a raid type of thing. I wish YouTube had something like that.
Yeah.
Where you can just whoop.
Look, man. Hey, you know what? And I'm just gonna spitball this. This isn't anything we planned out. I'm just literally spitballing this. What if you? Because I know you like to play Hitman, dog. What if you did a Let's Play of Hitman for the podcast?
I mean, it's not impossible.
Do it for the podcast.
I could probably figure it out. I got to see if I got all the right equipment. I probably could.
Right.
That'd be some wild. Y'all see me playing a game or something.
Right. See this man get out his body real quick because he acting up on the game. Not saying I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it either.
That just reminded me. I'm glad you said that. You reminded me of something I did.
What's
show you at the stream.
Bad.
But yeah, you know,
man.
Y'all, the conversation today is rooted in focus.
Yep. Oh yeah, he called you a lot. He said you got the Oculus now. There's a lot that you can do. I did, yeah.
I don't know, man. Oculus is crazy.
Right.
I'm still learning stuff from that.
Dog, that's a trippy thing, man.
Oh, bruh. Don't, man.
I don't know if I'm ready for that life.
Bro, I'm gonna give you the metaverse tour. Don't even worry about it.
Oh man.
But
I don't know if I'm ready for that life.
You gotta see it to believe it. It's one of the kind of things.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, y'all, you know, let's get into it. We ain't even gonna keep y'all too late tonight.
Nah. Because as you know, we trying to stay focused. So focus. Look, expediency is involved in focus.
So the question tonight is, what things can you identify to hinder your focus? I've kind of already spoke on it for me, me personally, social media. Because it kind of affects everybody. But if anything, for me, in terms of what I actually indulge in the most, YouTube. Like I'm very big on YouTube. Some people it's Netflix, some people it's TikTok, some people it's Facebook.
For me it's YouTube.
For me, it's YouTube specifically.
Right.
Like that YouTube Premium. Some of y'all out there, like, I never pay for YouTube. You don't know what you're missing out
till you do it.
It's better than Netflix.
Look, I said the same thing, but you know what?
YouTube got every fucking thing.
That little $11 man. Look, after a while, you don't even think it's there. Man, I say that, but I'm like, but for real,
I don't know what it's like to not have ads on y'all videos.
Man,
it download them.
It hits so different.
YouTube be tearing my ass up.
But look, it hits different though. It hits different because now when I'm dealing with somebody and they got ads, I'm like,
oh,
look, acting all bougie, like, ew, what is that?
Yeah, man, YouTube be a time sink. Sometimes I be finding myself getting caught up in the maze.
Javar said, don't let Keontae hear you say it's better than Netflix.
I'm going on record. I will pay for YouTube before I pay for Netflix. I don't care what nobody say.
I got both, so I can't really. I don't really got a dog in that fight.
There's smaller videos too, so it's easier to indulge attention span wise, and that's where they get you. I mean, that's basically the model of TikTok.
Yeah.
All TikTok did was steal what Vine did, right?
Y'all remember Vine? And just expanded on it.
And then they expanded on it. Because that's how TikTok started.
Because I think now you can. God,
say TikTok?
You old. Yeah. You officially old. You said, look, I messed up last time because I said the TikToks.
Bruh.
And you said Tic Tac.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, we old. That means you old.
Hey, that one Gen Z in the audience, like, oh no, he didn't. Tic Tac. What's a Tic Tac?
How dare you look something you need because you're sitting in the house. It ain't doing nothing.
With
I
your
know you
breath stinking watching YouTube videos.
Right, for real. Look, you make a TikTok. See, now I'm doing it. You can make a TikTok, but you can't brush your teeth. Bruh.
No, but yeah, man, I find myself, and sometimes I think I'm learning, because you know how sometimes you can get that learning on YouTube,
right? Yeah,
and I'll really just be like,
you just there,
and it's crazy because your YouTube history will go from literally, all right, now I'm watching something about finance.
Mm-hmm.
Now here I am watching a rap battle.
Yep.
Now here I am watching how to army roll your shirts so they fit in your bag easily. And it's like, if you go through your YouTube history, this is how you know you distracted, especially if you're like me and you indulge a lot on YouTube. Yeah. If that ain't much of a consistency of the videos you watching, your ass probably ain't learning. You probably getting distracted.
No lie. Look,
because it's hard to just jump from subject to subject. Like,
dog,
don't kid yourself.
It's easy when you let the algorithm do what it wants.
Bruh, when you let the algorithm do what it wants.
Bro, I done learned so much about different characters from, like, I like looking in, doing deep dives on series, like animes and stuff. Lately, I've been doing that with Naruto for some reason. And, like, Naruto is probably in my top 5, maybe. Like, and it's on the lower end of the top 5. Not saying I hate it, but it's just never something I indulged in that much back in the day. But now I find myself like kind of digging in because I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I like this bit of story, and it'd be cool if this bit of story came up. Like, oh man, what's going on? You know,
YouTube be turning my behind up.
YouTube.
What about some of y'all though? Like, we want to know. What's some definite things that you can identify that hinder your focus?
Right.
Y'all can be honest. It's okay. This is a safe space.
It's a safe space.
You know,
we are here for you.
Let's hear. We got quite a few of y'all up in here. Somebody better say something. But yeah, man, YouTube be chopping me up. I ain't even gonna front on it.
Right.
So much that I can see through not just my YouTube, but you know, like you can check what your battery using the most of.
Right,
all of that. It don't be Netflix or any of these other streaming services. It don't even be Facebook or anything like that, because I hardly post a post on Facebook or even Instagram. I might check out some reels and stuff. So like sometimes that pales in comparison to like YouTube. And
YouTube's just got the whole package.
What? Hey, yo.
You know,
hey, at least you honest.
You know, the saddest part about this is Javon.
Yo.
I should have saw that coming. I ain't even gonna cap.
But wait.
I will take that L because I should have.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I should have known you was gonna say something crazy.
Let's get down to the specific.
God.
Are you okay? Okay.
Hold on. Look, just give me a minute, Kiki. I'm gonna read yours.
From one extreme to
I'm gonna read yours in a second.
Yeah, we'll have to take this one.
This man tripping. I know he being honest and he's speaking his truth. That's why I'm not mad. But
I feel like that girl in that meme where she like, like how she do her fingers, like when she trying to explain something with the cap on or whatever.
Oh,
like I don't.
No, okay. I feel like the dude from National Geographic, like.
So, all right, Javar.
I understand.
I feel you.
But
I feel you. Ass hinders mine. Okay. Does it matter the platform?
I'm not asking.
Does it matter the platform, or are you just saying in general? Like, is this like, you know, my silly ass?
Why
is this like YouTube? Ooh. Is this YouTube ass, TikTok, or you just saying in general, like videos? Like, what are we talking about?
I think he's talking about what he take home, bro. You know what? I don't really want to know.
And then Kiki,
I don't want to know.
Strong emotions.
Okay.
Trying to focus on a task and not being in the right state of mind to handle it. Ooh. Sometimes buckling under that pressure. That was recent because I almost slapped that lady. Wait. See, y'all can't be doing this type of shit. I can't go
No.
from. I cannot go from somebody telling me ass hinders mind to somebody talking about the lack of focus to the point.
Everybody has a struggle. See,
somebody.
Look, everybody.
These are two types of extremes here.
Everybody has a struggle.
No,
everybody got a struggle.
Listen, here's where I'm having an issue focusing.
It's concerning.
This is like Angel on one shoulder, Devil on the other, and I'm listening to both of them, and both of them are making very good points, but they are completely two different things, and I have to understand that.
Pick a struggle.
Okay.
I mean, look, I don't mind his honesty.
No, yeah, I appreciate that.
But
honesty is the best policy here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And when it comes to distractions and lack of focus, the only way you're gonna really be able to attack it is if you are being honest. Because when you're not, you're being delusional.
Right.
And what we don't want is delusion.
Look,
delusion is a whole different state.
Look, Javar, I ain't say I didn't ask for it. I told you I accepted the L. What more do you want? I accepted the L that I asked, the open-ended question to you.
I'm not.
Which is a terrible idea.
I ain't mad at you neither.
Which is a terrible idea. But
I need more context to Kiki.
I mean, I kind of feel that because I feel like everybody who's done any measure of a service job has had that situation where it's like, so I really could just lose my job right now and just be snot you. Like, because look.
That's my issue with micromanaging.
Yes.
And that's why I can't.
Yes. Micromanagement is annoying.
That's something that'll mess with me too, because it's just like, it's almost as if like people won't let you do they won't let you do you. Yeah. And it's almost like
Kiki, do not encourage him.
I get sometimes the ass beat.
Do not encourage him.
I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I mean, we know, but no. You know better than encourage Javar. Look, Kiki, you don't know Javar. He crazy. That man is no. See, there it is. You already gave him gas.
Confirmation bias.
Jesus.
Hey.
Jesus.
It can be hard, man. And this is not even including people who suffer from like any type of ADD or ADHD.
Right.
When you add mental illness to the equation, it really becomes like we see how much of an issue this becomes. And I would venture to say that because so many people are undiagnosed, it gets even worse when you think about it from that perspective. Because a lot of people don't even know that they're afflicted by that, right?
Right.
That probably definitely plays into their ability to focus.
Yeah.
And
it gets hard because when it comes to focus, like realistically, people can knock you off your game.
Yeah, you literally jump from thing to thing. It happens to the best of us.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we go off on a slight tangent, right?
It's easy.
It's easy to rope things in. It's easy to rope things in, man. It's like you're supposed to be in a tunnel vision, right? But you in a forest.
Oh yeah.
And so like,
and you can't cut down enough. You can't cut down enough trees to get through.
And there's so many different paths you can take. And road, like you can go this way, you can go that way, you can go diagonally. Like you can weave in about. Whereas when it's just a tunnel, you don't see shit else. There's nothing to the left. There's nothing to the right.
Right.
There's only what's ahead.
Yeah. And see.
I mean, there's what's behind too.
Right. But for real, yeah.
But truth be told, the way your peripheral is set up, it's pointing forward.
Tunnel vision. Let's see. No, Kiki Nakoto said, "No, this lady was trying to micromanage me when I'm her supervisor. Like, ma'am, you've been alive since Martin had a dream, but back the F up on my space because these hands is registered for everyone." I'm not laughing at your struggle. I promise I'm not. But it's just the wording of that. Look, bro. Look.
You know.
There are times, there are some folks that I be wanting to kick in the head, either because they don't get something or because they keep trying to dogmatically, go about something that I know isn't gonna go well. Like I've had a client try to micromanage me. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with him no more. But praise the Lord, shout out to glory. But it's annoying because it's like, yo, you have no right to tell me how to do my job.
See,
And sometimes you have even coworkers who do that. Like you don't like I've been in workplaces where coworkers will act like they're your supervisor, and they saying stuff, and you kind of have to look at them and be like, hey, chill, another one, But when it comes to focus for me, man, for me, my main one is trying to do too much at once.
okay, putting too much on your plate, stretching yourself thin.
Yes, either stretching myself thin, or sometimes it's actually hyper focusing, where I get so heavily focused on one thing that I can't figure out nothing else, and I stress out about that one thing to where I can't get it to go the way I want it to. You know what I'm saying? And like, I always hate that because it's like, man, well, what do I do? I got to figure it out, right?
Sure.
But it's like, sometimes you really get into a place where, how do I say this? Your focus becomes your enemy. Your focus becomes your enemy because you're thinking that you're thinking that you're not doing enough. You think that you're not hitting on something the way you're supposed to for whatever reason. There might be validity to it, and there might not be. And just like I've had to do this with beats or we're making songs and stuff, sometimes you have to step back. You have to step back from it.
Sounds like
and look at it and then go back in.
A load management issue.
Yeah.
A priority issue.
Yeah.
And
thinking about way too much at once because you know that this got to get done, this got to get done, this got to get done. Like you got a grocery list of stuff that need to be taken care of, but you have no order in it. You have no there's no direct understanding of exactly how you're going to approach that. So as a result, you're calling yourself trying to focus or whatever, but you ain't focusing. Because you're so stuck on trying to just get there. You're so stuck on trying to get to that point and where you're happy with whatever it is that you really don't achieve anything.
Okay. So you going nowhere fast. I think in those situations,
breakneck speed, yeah.
In those situations, I think a lot can be attributed to having the right kind of method, the right kind of direction.
Agreed.
And in that, when you find yourself going nowhere fast trying to do something,
right,
that might be a telltale sign of you need more education.
Yeah.
You needing some form of help.
Yeah. And one thing my supervisor was discussing with us, my boss too, was talking because our job is very labor intensive. Not so much physical labor, but mental labor.
Sure.
Because you're spending so much time doing this, and this, and you're trying to make sure you get all your bases covered, everything scheduled properly, making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do, everything and whatever, whatnot. That sometimes you neglect to give yourself time. And I just ended that. You neglect to give yourself time. You neglect to give yourself the opportunity to take a break. You neglect to give yourself even enough time to go somewhere and go use a restroom, go eat, do something, and you just run. You just run. And you can do that for a while. I can say that because I've done it. You can do it for a while. And you know what? It sounds so good. And we hype up this concept so much of being like, yeah, man, I've been working for I did 64 hours every week.
Yeah,
I didn't work this
no
many.
sleep.
Yeah, I
Team
ain't.
no
Look,
sleep.
look, man. I'm out here grinding. I'm out here working, man. You know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. And if that's your grind, anybody out there, I salute you. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because you know what? I've been in that boat. I have been in that boat where I leave out of the house at 8 and I don't come back until 8 or 9. You know, and that's if I have nowhere else to go after I get back home.
Be worn the fuck out.
Yeah, look, sometimes you're wired and then you can't sleep and then later you're worn out. You know, it comes and goes, but at the end of the day, you have to give yourself time because you're not a robot.
It's like trying to run the United States of America, but you don't ever get a moment to not sit down in the Oval Office.
Hey, you don't give yourself no time to breathe.
It's like
you have to.
Your mind just on go mode.
Right.
And people be thinking that they're being so progressive, you know, in terms of what they're trying to get done. They think they're being focused because they are working constantly. And a lot of times they'll come back at it like, damn, I really didn't accomplish much.
Right.
But wait a minute, I didn't get much sleep neither.
Right.
And once again, then you have to look back at your plan, your system. Like, is the steps that you're taking, the tasks that you're doing, you know, relative to the progress that you should have. And a lot of times what you'll find out is that a lot of times we have faulty systems. Like we have poor time management, which that's something we've talked about before too, right? You're bad at prioritizing things in terms of what's important, right? You don't know how to pick and choose. And all of these things do contribute to your focus because when you're good at prioritizing, when you're good at time management, it's that much easier to focus because not only do you have a clear goal in mind, but you have clear steps to achieve it. And that's what be happening with folks. They know what they want.
Right.
It don't change. They don't know how to get to where they want.
Right.
It's like you can be so focused, but without a sense of direction.
Yeah.
Without a sense of transportation, right? If you got tunnel vision, how do you get out the tunnel or to the end? The end of the what they say, the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
How do you get to that point? What gets you there?
What's your order of
operations? I know
operations?
that's where you're trying to go.
There? Yeah.
Right. I know that's where you're trying to go.
Right.
That's the direction you're pointing. But like, how do you get from point A to point B?
Right.
Sometimes we get so stuck on
just getting there
and that we don't like formulating like, okay, like we be having decision paralysis. It's like, all right, I'm right here at the beginning of the tunnel. I'm thinking of like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you about to say. Yep.
Road Runner done ran past me.
Yep.
Now I have to make some type of invention.
You got to figure it out.
Always had every invention, every like thing on order.
Look,
he had Amazon Prime before it was Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and it was called Acme. He
had Acme.
That man single-handedly kept him in business, dog.
And each time, if you ever notice, his goal never changed.
Nope.
But what you did notice,
his methods changed.
His methods changed, and none of them worked.
Yeah.
He never really had help neither. That was another one of his problems. He didn't have help, and his methods were trash.
Right.
You saw him try a bunch of different things. You know what he never did really try? Giving up.
Yep.
And I say that to say, we also live in a day and age in a culture where people literally will tell you, never give up.
Yep.
Like it's the best advice ever. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes you do have to give up. And there's a specific case into which you should be giving up.
It's a strategic retreat.
Yeah, and it usually entails when you've tried to do so many different things.
And it just has not worked.
But you do got to seek help. Yeah. While he never had help, he never had any real help.
Yeah.
Because clearly he didn't know what he was doing. Because if he did,
he'd have been got
actually caught Road Runner.
Right.
He never really did.
I don't even think he ever got close, did he?
He had
he had some near misses.
Right.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, he always failed. And he was always trying something different. what never came to his mind, what he never understood,
Right.
was that he just couldn't do it. And the whole reason what made the show interesting is seeing, one, if he could do it, and two, how is he gonna try to do it this time?
Right. And it's kind of like even with Tom and Jerry, it's like one thing that Tom did do over Wiley is that he succeeded a couple times. Also, he did refine his approaches. And and you notice over time, Tom got to the point where if he got too frustrated with it, he'd back off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tom knew when to quit. And that's the thing,
he knew when to bail.
Sometimes we get caught up by this. A lot of it be marketing and stuff. This lifestyle marketing, motivation this, manifest this,
right?
All that other stuff. And what enough people don't be teaching us about is when focusing isn't enough, and when to give up on things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like there are certain things that you just, at least in your current configuration, cannot do.
Right.
And that might require more of you than what you've been given.
Right.
Because sometimes we get so caught up in the I'm trying point so much.
Right.
We don't realize that we don't got the right methods.
No.
We don't got the right amount of education.
And you may need to go back and really just.
And we think we focus because we still want to do this thing.
Yeah. And
it's because this thing is still on my mind and I'm still trying to do it.
I'm focused. Yep.
And it's like
you're not focused, you're just active.
Yeah, you're just trying.
Yeah.
Like for you to be focused would also mean that you have a clear enough understanding. You're not easily distracted.
Right.
Just because you keep adding it to your goal list every year, don't mean you focus.
Right.
If anything, we can probably make a case that you're too distracted because you ain't completed it yet.
Nope.
And that's the thing.
You started.
How many times do you do that? Like how many times are you gonna keep on refreshing the same goal? It's like you keep refreshing the page,
but you ain't did nothing on it.
Man,
you just still scrolling.
Man, or you still clicking the same link.
Right.
That link is broken. Stop. Find another website. Find another way. Stop trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And then going back to.
But you know what? And it's
focused.
And it's okay to admit that you're not on it. That's okay.
For sure. But you know what though? People want to know. People want to know. Or at least to our best knowledge, as the podcast title indicates, maintaining focus. What can we do?
Right.
Well, first we have to identify our vices, which, me and NeRo, we told y'all some of ours, some of y'all shared in the comments what y'all's are.
Right.
So now here's where the homework and the application comes into play.
Yes,
smart enough to know what distracts you. How do you mitigate the distraction? Because the mitigating the distraction helps to maintain the focus, right?
Yes, sir.
So like for me, for example, one of the things that I did for YouTube is on both iPhone and Android, it's called different things. On iPhone, what is it called? On iPhone, it's called something time or something like that. Somebody correct me who got an iPhone. I don't got one. On Android, it's called digital well-being. And basically what it is,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Setting timers and stuff for things to kind of get you to not indulge in them so much. Putting timers and limits on how frequently you use the application. I got one of those type of timers set up for YouTube. I got one set up for Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, you name it. It's mostly social, anything that's social media, shopping.
Right.
I even got my notes section.
That's smart.
Set up like that. So sometimes I got to cut out whatever I'm writing in my notes, which includes poetry too. I might even have it on book reading. I'm not for sure. But basically, the whole purpose of it is to get you to put your fucking phone down. Right. Because as we know, this device here is the biggest
time waster in the universe.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is my primary portal for YouTube, especially this phone. But like, mitigating how much time I spend on these things.
Yeah.
So when I'm not spending time on those things, I can tap back in to the rest of my reality that exists outside of the technology, the main piece of technology that pretty much all of us carry on us, right? Our smartphones. It's so easy, it's so convenient. You know, it's like a Pop-Tart or a Hot Pocket. Yeah. It's just quick, fast, and it's right there and it's good.
Oh yeah.
And you can just keep on indulging. It's easy to just rip one out the package or throw one in the microwave, right?
Yeah. All day. And you know, the simplest thing about it is, you know, you really do get to the point where you sit there and you realize just how much time you've burnt up.
Oh like, man,
just listen, how much time you've burnt up.
Digital well-being, it gives me a weekly summary. And what happens is when I run up that timer,
I'm almost afraid to look at that.
The application grays out.
Yeah.
And now, of course, if I want to go around that,
you can still do it. But it's a mental check.
It's a mental check and a reminder, like, hey,
look,
and then it'll tell me based off my timer,
you're doing too much.
I know basically how long I didn't use the application. Not only that, there's a correlation between that and the battery life of your smartphone.
Right.
So that's another thing. If y'all phones are dying all the damn time,
it's probably because you overindulging in something.
Right. You own it too goddamn much.
Yeah.
Furthermore, life is about experiencing. And one of the key experiences that a lot of people, especially these days during these times, tend to talk about or complain about rather,
right,
is the time that they spend with each other.
Yes.
Think about how many times or how many moments, regardless whether you social or not, introvert or extrovert,
right?
Think about all the times where you succumb to your smartphone when you didn't necessarily want to be bothered or interact with people for whatever your reasons may have been.
It's an easy thing to do, and kids are learning to do it now too. You know,
think about all the moments in situations and stuff that you might have missed out on.
Right.
But when we talk about goal setting and stuff, some of the times when we be talking about some of the things that we want to actually do, a lot of times they don't even be related to technology.
No.
Y'all think about that? Like, think about the goals and stuff that you have that don't necessarily have anything to do with technology. Some of y'all might want to lose weight, right? You don't need a smartphone to do that. As advanced as technology is, and in as many ways as it can help you, you can go to the gym without your phone.
Exactly.
The real muff that be in the gym, they might have music playing.
Right, but
some of them don't even have that.
They don't really be locked in on
it. They just be on their machine giving and going.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Because they know
what that digging in that phone.
Yep.
Up, there go 5 minutes.
Yep.
Up, that's 5 minutes of progress taken away.
Because it's too easy to do.
And I mean, I haven't been in a little minute, but you know, when I was going to the gym, it was quite frequent.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things. The only time I was on my phone was to change music.
Right.
And once I started buying and using smartwatches, you know, that was a thing of the past. Like now I got it to where my one of my music playlists is on my watch. If you got a Galaxy watch,
right,
an Android Wear or an Apple Watch, I'm pretty sure all the smartwatches, the top smartwatches can do that.
Yeah.
Put that motherfucker in your locker.
Right.
If you can't leave it in the car, put it in your locker.
Yeah. Because it's too easy to do.
If you got the LTE versions of any of these watches, you really down bad. Right. Because you can still get text messages and all that other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to work, my phone automatically goes into do not disturb mode. And whether you have Android or iPhone, you got do not disturb mode. You can make exceptions and all of that. It don't play the media.
Right.
I got to turn off do not disturb mode to play the media. You know why I got it like that? So I don't try to indulge in YouTube while I'm at work.
Because it's too easy to do.
No. Especially with YouTube Premium.
No.
But am I good most of the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, the real question is, are you better than you were?
Hell yeah.
There it is.
And then with stuff like digital well-being and the iPhone equivalent, it's something time. I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah.
One of y'all know what it's called. Just drop it in the comment section for the people who got iPhone that might want to clue in or look into that. You know, I don't know, spare time or something. Yeah. I forget what it's called. But, you know, screen time or something.
Right.
But, you know, I recommend people start using those functions on their phones, especially if you know you use your phone too much. Because even me, I'm telling you right now, even if what I indulge on ain't necessarily social media per se, I still use my phone too much.
Yeah.
And I know
Definitely.
that's where my vice is, and that's what uses the most battery on my phone. YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is TV in your pocket.
I mean, it's easy to do.
Easy to do.
Easy to do.
And sometimes we be tricking ourselves, coming up with reasons. Yeah, I'm learning something.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to build a business.
You learning how to burn up your time, and it's just the truth.
Right.
And there's no shame. Look, there's no shame in it. It's not anything to feel shame about. It's just the nature of what the thing is.
I would say no shame, as it relates to others.
Right.
Don't let others make you feel bad. But just look at yourself.
Right.
Look at what you're accomplishing and what you're not.
Right.
Dig in and see where your biggest time sinks are. That's what you need to cut out. It's that simple. And then replace that time that you cut in with the things that you complain about not achieving. If you always complain that, damn, man, I wish I read more, but you're on TikTok all the time, replace some, if not all the time,
right,
at least some of the time with TikTok. We're reading that book. Then guess what? You ain't got to complain about reading the book, and you still get some TikTok time.
Right.
It ain't got to be complete cold turkey.
No.
That's what be fucking a lot of y'all up too.
Trying to go
y'all are trying to go cold turkey and completely cut it out. Think y'all doing something.
Because now it's a monkey on your back.
Most of these habits and most of these time sinks are created to be addictive anyway, especially social media.
Yep. And like
so it's a drug in a sense that you can't just go off of it. You're gonna have withdrawal.
Yep.
You can't just do that. No, you
sometimes those withdrawals will hit you hard.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they will mess you up.
And here you are back on. No, just take your time with it.
And you sitting there looking mad.
You're not doing it to prove it to other people. You're doing it to prove and benefit for yourself.
Right.
So if that means, okay, I'm only going to tend to TikTok for 5 hours instead of 6.
Right.
Cool. That's a start. You got to start somewhere.
Right.
You don't have to be like, all right, I'm not watching no TikTok at all. Don't do that. Don't put that much pressure on yourself. You don't have to prove that to anybody else. Any progress is progress.
Right.
Take your time with it. You'll thank yourself later, and it become easier the more gradual of an approach you take with it. Same thing with losing weight, and changing the diet.
Sometimes
moderation.
And you know what? With losing weight, sometimes you do it and you're not even realizing you're doing it. Honestly, you get into a situation where you like, when this shirt gets so loose, it happens.
So put timers on things.
Sometimes that's the best way to do it, because then you're not dragging yourself for whether you're doing all right or whether you're not doing all right.
I'm gonna put it to y'all like this: as far as we know, we only got one life to live.
Yep.
So
ain't no point in testing it out just in case you don't.
Right. If you value your time that much, you really got to be that much more strategic. It ain't got to be rocket science, but maybe you could be a little bit more intentional, especially if you might die anytime now, right?
Preach that.
You know what I'm saying?
Preach that.
Some of the time I spent on YouTube,
you could be spending doing something else.
I could be spending doing something else that I find myself constantly complaining about not doing.
Right.
Don't be that person.
Right. Always complaining that you ain't got no time to do nothing. Yeah.
Because look, for y'all, and we using TikTok, y'all, because TikTok it's huge.
Right.
And because of its ability to not only cater to your interests, but to play off your attention span.
Yes.
Which is why these videos are so short.
Yep. They only just now started making them 3 minutes long.
Right. They seen what YouTube was doing, and they realized they seen what Vine was doing. Y'all remember Vine?
Yep. I feel like everybody remembers Vine.
Hopefully you do.
Right. If you don't, then I guess that means we are old.
I don't know.
So be it.
Because some people, because Vine been gone for a little minute.
Right.
And some people wasn't like on that then.
It took me a minute to get on it anyway. I mean, and a lot of that is sometimes find something to do. If it gets bad enough to where it's messing with you, find something to do. Find something to do. It don't really matter what it is, but just find something to do.
Not just find something productive to do. Find something that you wish you did more.
Right. Or at least something that feels like a worthy application in your time. At least something that feels like that.
Don't completely replace the other thing.
Right.
Take baby steps.
Right.
piece by piece, because eventually it is going to, like what you were saying, it's going to become autonomous. You ain't even going to have to think about it, and it's going to become routine.
Right.
Then that's the big trick, because once it becomes routine, we got to focus on it no more. It's second nature.
Right.
So then you ain't even devoting that brain power to it no more. Now you can focus on something else. And look, and that's when you get it, right? So maintain and focus. Prioritize your time. The things that you're doing too much, piece by piece, incorporate the things you wish you did more into the timing of that.
Right.
So steal the time away from the things you think you spend too much time on.
Yep.
And give it to the things you know you don't spend enough time on.
The stuff that matters.
Gradually. The stuff that matters the most to you. Right?
And I mean, like, the biggest thing about that is that sometimes just realizing that some stuff is not worth devoting your time to. And that's just the truth. And realizing that and telling yourself that is hard, because it goes into the subject we talked about last time. Well, one time, which was discipline. Discipline is a hard thing to do. Discipline is a hard thing to achieve. It is never easy, you know. So don't discount yourself if it's something that you just haven't done yet.
We breadcrumbing, y'all.
Yeah.
Between discipline and consistency. We've also talked about time management.
Right.
These things go hand in hand, especially in a day and age where we're dealing with a lot of dynamics that are playing on our modern time right now. Especially with the way the economy is, the way society is right at this moment. If there was ever a time where time was most precious, I swear to you, until something else happens, time is now.
Oh, Javar said, side note, if Sid didn't tell you, my Black in a Minute shirt came in the other day. Yes, sir. Okay, we appreciate your patronage, sir.
Him and his wife,
okay.
I might add.
Okay.
Got some of the gear.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all.
So we got a 2-for-1. Okay, let's go.
I want to mention it on the podcast.
Let's go.
You guys, that site that's right on the screen right now, Flowpage.com, Flowpage/the Black in a Minute podcast.
Yep.
The link is also in the description of the video. Should be whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitch, especially if you're on YouTube. Just click on it.
Right.
See what we got on there. You know, we got links to the audio podcast for those of y'all who have time constraints. Because we don't ever want to be the biggest time sink of your time either. That's why we provide different formats for different tastes, for different attention spans, so on and so have you.
Right.
So definitely check that out. And if you're a firm believer in us, buy a piece of merch.
Please do.
And give us some feedback. Because we're always trying to make the products better. We always trying to make the podcast better.
We want to be better.
Yeah, that's how we grow. That's how we produce better content for y'all.
Right.
But, you know, prioritizing.
Such a big thing in general.
By limiting your time on the overindulgence and replacing it with the things that are the most near and dear to you, the things that you have the biggest complaints about. Okay? So that's a time management thing. You got to do that. Like NeRo was saying, once you figure that part out, you need to also decide what's actually worth the time.
Right.
And how do you do that? You have to prioritize. You can't stretch yourself thin.
No.
What I've done, and I talked about this in a couple previous podcasts, is I'm only worried about one thing this year. That's it.
And that's okay.
It's a lot harder to listen, y'all. We all know it's a lot harder to fuck up 5 things at once
than it is to mess up.
And it is one thing. And at least if you fuck up that one thing,
you can go back and do something about it, though.
It's just one thing. You're not gonna feel like you're failing in all aspects of your life. You'll at least feel like you're failing in that one. And all failing means is that you either lack the drive or you lack the education.
And I mean,
that's okay.
And honestly,
that's gonna happen.
Look, and honestly, all failure does is just teach us another way of how to not do something. And that's okay.
You're learning. It'll make you better.
Right.
And it'll make your methodology better the next time around. Because if you learn from your mistakes,
right,
which was also something we talked about, mistakes, then you will not repeat the same thing over again.
Right.
Because you'll know that that doesn't work. And that's key.
Yes.
So for me, if I'm advising y'all, the main things I want y'all to remember is 1, take your time. 2, do not overfill your plate. In fact, less is more. It's easier to focus when you got less shit. Y'all got decision fatigue. You got too much shit on your mind. Chill out.
Right.
As my buddy Keontae would say, it's better to achieve 10 things in 10 years than to try to achieve 10 things in 1 year and maybe come out with 1 or 2, if that. A lot of y'all doing that.
Right.
Y'all stretching yourself thin. Y'all plates are too big. Oh, no, I hear you. I hear the rebuttal. I hear the rebuttal now. Well, if I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, I don't feel like I'm progressing.
Right.
Okay. But you ain't progressing anyway with your method.
Right.
You're not seeing the results you want with having all 10 of those things.
And you know what? One thing that people say a lot is that what is the definition of stupidity? The definition of stupidity, and I'm not trying to come at nobody, but for real, the definition of stupidity is doing something over and over and assuming or expecting different results than what you get.
They also attribute that to crazy too as well.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Right.
That is another part of insanity. You are doing things in the same exact way, expecting it to somehow work differently.
Expecting a different outcome. Yep.
Then that's not going to happen. It's just not going to.
And y'all just be more, value your time more. It's so precious. Even more than your money. Because the money you can get back. You can get back what you lost.
Right.
And you're always going to lose something. So don't worry about too much what you lost. Because you can always get it back. But what you cannot get back is the time. So
right.
You kind of got to be a dick about it. I'm going to say it.
Sometimes.
We're small enough that I can say that without us getting flagged.
Right. Look, hopefully.
Value your time. It is so precious. Get some structure about your time. I recommend calendars, folks.
Right.
Some of y'all like, well, I don't want to have to do all of that.
I mean, look, don't knock it till you try, bro.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Digital calendars are great because you can edit everything as you go. I use that now.
Calendar.
I used to not like it, but you know what? I've grown to really like it.
You can do it digitally through your smartphone.
Yeah.
For those of y'all still like to write, you can do handwritten planners. They exist for a reason. Agenda books. Y'all know we all had an agenda book in middle school or high school or at some point in our lives.
Right.
And the whole purpose of it was what? Keeping us on task with what the fuck we were supposed to do.
Right.
Stop relying on your brain. It ain't as reliable as you think. Write shit down. It's okay. Don't make you stupid. It makes you smart. Because you know that your brain can't hold everything and doesn't remember everything the same. Put it somewhere else.
Right.
We forget shit every second.
For real.
I'll be trying my best to capture as many things as possible through my notes.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to.
So that way I can literally go back to my notes and be like, man, what was that one thing I was supposed? Oh, yeah, that's right. Let me go in my notes. Let me search based off this keyword or whatever. A lot of note-taking apps and stuff like that do that shit automatically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can create your own system. You can be creative with it. It can be as confusing or you know, it can be as intricate as you want it to be. It's yours.
Right.
The whole purpose of it is to make it easier for you.
And that's kind of the main thing.
Eliminate the decision paralysis, though, y'all. Stop putting so much on your plate. That's why y'all focus. What y'all think is y'all trying to be focused. It's just adding to your frustration. You're doing too much.
And then you get so frustrated that you don't want to deal anymore.
Yeah. People be talking about all the time, I'm so disorganized. And a lot of times they don't even be disorganized. Y'all just don't be focused.
Yeah.
Y'all be doing too much. Slow the fuck down. Sure, time waits for no man.
And we know that.
But the man that knows how to manage his time don't have to wait for shit. Don't have to worry about none of that.
What was it that Erykah Badu said? The man that knows he knows the most knows that he knows nothing at all. You should always strive to be a student. You should always strive to be a person who seeks a greater understanding. You should want to get something out of every experience you have. So with that, learn how to maximize your focus. And we're not saying that like we're masters of it. We're still learning. A lot of this stuff we saying because we know what it's like to not have that.
And we're trying things as we go, just like everybody else. Like I said,
Right.
I used to be the person that had stuff broken down into quarters and months.
Yeah.
And I would get some things done, but I wouldn't get everything. And it would always be the things that I needed to have done the most. Because guess what? They weren't priorities.
No.
Even though they were more important, they weren't
Right.
the top priorities, and the smaller things were easier.
There it is. There it is. The smaller things are easier.
So look, right? Because this is where it gets big, right?
Yeah.
Take that high priority thing, break it down to easier pieces. A lot of y'all like, oh, this ain't new information. I already know this. What if you know this? Apply it.
Look, there it is. There it is. If
But
you
also,
know it, go do it.
Right. Like, if you knew better, then you do better. So it's like, you have to take the hard things, break them down, and make them easy.
Yeah.
I'd rather take one big thing, one big goal I have,
and narrow it down.
Break it down into easy pieces.
Yeah.
Break that one big thing into 10 pieces, making that one big thing easier,
Right.
giving me 10 tasks to complete, then trying to do 10 different things
Right.
that are all of that one big thing size. You got 10 big ass I don't even know what I could attribute it to. Like, you got 10 big ass icebergs.
Right.
When you should be dealing with one iceberg broken down into 10 ice cubes.
Right.
So what ends up being 10 icebergs, in that case, if I'm doing the math right, becomes 100 ice cubes.
Right.
And then the end of the year come, you got like 25 of the ice cubes.
And sometimes it's so rough that you just sitting there looking at yourself like, why did you do this to yourself?
And then when you count those 25 ice cubes, if you were to put them back into one iceberg, what you would realize is you only got 2.5 icebergs out of 10,
Right.
which translates to you didn't really do shit.
No, you thought you were because you were being active.
Right.
You was on the move.
You was marking off little things, but
Yeah.
really the little things, because you had so much on your fucking plate, when you step back and look at it for what it is, you really didn't do much.
Right.
Also, y'all, this is another thing I'm implementing too as well.
Yeah.
Because there's still going to be people that's like, I want to do multiple things at once, or I want to be able to say I had multiple things accomplished. I got y'all.
Right.
Wait until you complete that one thing. Because if you're maintaining your focus properly,
you're not going to leave
get
that one thing alone.
Not only that, you might get it accomplished in less time because you have more focus. So you know what you can do then?
Then you can move on to the next thing.
Adding another thing.
Yeah.
So like in my example, right? Let's just say I want to build a website this year, right?
Okay.
In order to build a website, there's several small steps that got to come before that. I got to secure a domain.
Right.
I have to go through a web designer or figure out how I'm going to design and code that website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also got to work on my SEO. That's for like my clicks and also my monetization. I got to figure out what type of content I'm going to be producing. These are all smaller steps that contribute to this one big thing, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's say I complete all of that. Since I've maintained my time and my focus, it's allowed me to speed up the progression.
Yeah.
Because another problem y'all have is patience.
Yeah.
And in this internet day and age, it's even more worse. That's another issue y'all have, because I have it too, and that's okay.
Patience, urgency, and just high expectancy.
Because when we talk about time, we got to talk about patience and the speed of things. So guess what, y'all? I've now completed that thing in 3.5 months' time. Let's just say we're trying to do all this in 1 year, right? Now, guess what? This thing that was big, after I broke it down into easier pieces that made it easier to accomplish and took a lot more stress off of my mental, I got it completed. So now what do I do? Oh, I know. I still got time before the end of this year is out, because most of us make yearly goals. So that's my logic here.
Right.
That's my basis. I can now take another big thing and add it on.
Yeah. And you can make it work like that.
And guess what? I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm taking one thing at a time, fully seeing it through, maintaining the focus on the one thing, accomplishing it, then moving on to the next thing.
Right.
And then focusing it on it, breaking it down into the little steps, accomplishing it, moving on to the next thing. And just keep repeating that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And what you'll notice is while you're maintaining that focus and being selective of your time, naturally you're going to develop a routine and a consistency of not only taking your time and maintaining your focus that way, making it easier for you and less stressful for you to do it.
Right.
And clearing off your plate.
And there's nothing wrong with that. What's up, Paris Love? It's good to see you.
How you doing? What's power?
Let me go ahead and pull up this question that we had. I don't know if you see it on YouTube. It might be on there, but I'll just pop it up here. The question we was asking was, what things can you identify that hinders your focus? Because that's definitely something that we're trying to place more emphasis and focus on because it is big.
That's where you got to start at.
Yeah.
That's where you got to start at. Once you identify that, you can go somewhere.
Yeah, you identify the problem first. That's the way it always works. You know.
You got to start there. Because you got to see what's robbing your time first.
Right.
You got to know that part.
And
because
she
when
said,
we talk about focus, we have to talk about time.
Right. She said she's doing good. She hopes all is well our way. Yeah, things are going pretty well. I did recently have a loss in my family. I lost one of my uncles. But it's something that at this point I am at a level of peace about. I can't say for later. I can't say for, even immediately after this. But at the moment, I'm at peace. So I appreciate that. But, it is a big thing because sometimes we don't give ourselves the opportunity, the time, or the leeway to really focus on anything.
Y'all, I wanna put this out there, right? Think about how much this makes sense. Imagine being distracted by all the different things that currently have your attention right now, right? Now, imagine on top of that, trying to call yourself being productive by stacking your plate with the hundreds of thousands of distractions you already have, while also trying to complete a bunch of stuff too. You already stretched thin by your distractions alone. Never mind also trying to achieve a bunch of stuff too.
Right.
Like you literally don't have the time to do all of that.
No,
you don't. Unless you like Amish or very minimalistic or living a complete life of no distractions.
Or you just so happen to be built like that. And that's not always a guarantee.
You're that much of a monk or stoic, and that ain't the average for most people.
No.
It's like, yo, you don't even have the time. You never had the time. You don't even have the capacity.
Absolutely.
So you got to attack it first.
And thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the condolences. I'm trying to make sure I address everything. But yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, man, sometimes we do sleep on the importance of giving ourselves time to do things. Like, we sleep very heavily on that. And I say we because I've done it too. I do it a lot.
Oh, yeah, we all get it.
There's even times now, like here recently, where I've had to back off of doing that because it's just very easy to do. It's very easy to end up letting time get away from you. It's easy to let yourself just get stuck with a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be fiddling with in the first place. We all know that we've had situations that we shouldn't even stuck our head into. And now it's something that, one, you shouldn't have been invested into to begin with. Now it's something that's basically taking over part of your life. How many times have we all gotten so invested in somebody else's drama that we ran out of time to deal with our own? Because you lying if you say that never happens, because we know it does. We know it does. You know what I'm saying? It occurs all the time. Stuff will come up on you out of nowhere that you never expect. You don't know how it's going to come to you. You don't know how it's going to come to your door and you get thrown off. You call yourself trying to contribute. You trying to be quote unquote helpful, whatever it is you want to call it. And you inadvertently put yourself in a trap.
The other thing is, you know, we end up, the more things that we put on our plate,
Yeah.
I think the easier it becomes for us to make an excuse for why we didn't complete said things.
Agreed.
Oh, well, I couldn't do this because of that. I couldn't do this because of that.
Yep.
And I couldn't do this because of that.
Yep.
Listen, for those of y'all who do be self-conscious and find yourself more often times than not caring about what other people think, you know how worse it sounds when you say you're going to do a bunch of stuff and don't complete hardly any of it versus when you only say you're going to do one thing and not complete it? Right. Sounds a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know, Paris Love said, the feeling of lack and limitations hinders me from staying focused and attaining my goals.
That's a lot, you know.
Yeah, and you know what, Paris Love, I know you're late to the topic of discussion and everything, but you know, we've talked about that as well, and a lot of people do suffer from the limitation aspect of it because people, it seems like folks would hate to think that they should have to tie themselves down to 1 to 2 things.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, okay, I'm not getting enough things done. Instead of thinking about I'm not getting enough things done, we really need to flip it to, of the things I want to do, I'm not getting enough of the things themselves done. I'm not completing enough. It should be more rooted in completion of the things than the amount of things. So basically quality versus quantity.
Right.
Too many people are focused on the quantity of how many things they get done and not on the quality of those things that they choose to indulge in being done. It will always come out better when you're focusing and spending much more time.
Yeah.
We still live in a day and age where people hyping up multitasking culture. But if you know anything about multitasking, you know that multitasking is kind of like one of those woo super woke words, because in reality, we don't really multitask.
No.
Like it's not what you think it is.
There's at least one task that you focus on a little bit more than the others.
Yeah, like you can't devote an equal amount of your effort and energy and brain power to everything. It just doesn't work that way. You can't just evenly divide it that way.
Right.
And because of that, we're seeing what happens to everybody. Everybody thinking they're multitasking, but really they're just doing a bunch of shit horribly.
Yeah.
Like, and you think, oh, I'm so productive. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. But you're really just doing a shitty job at a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And people hate to think it because, like, oh, I'm being so productive because I'm taking on so many tasks.
Because nobody wants to have that conversation.
Nah.
Nobody wants to have that conversation.
And you think you're doing all
right.
Society has also conditioned y'all to think y'all lazy.
Mm-hmm. If you're not doing it. Yes.
You see other people and you get into this whole comparison thief of joy.
Yeah.
You get into the comparison game. You like, well, they're able to do this, that, and the third.
Why you don't know. Look, and here's the main thing. You don't know what they went through to get to that point.
Nope.
You know.
And they might just be like, tagging along with what you said. They may be further along in their journey, in their development of systems. Usually that's particularly what it is. They got a system that works for them. They done already figured it out, and they're able to do that.
Right. And I mean, if so, that's great.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's what old folks used to say all the time.
Right. Well, because even referencing what I talked to you about before, look, your system and standards are not somebody else's. So where you think you're lacking, there may be somebody who envies where you are in life, what your position is, what you're capable of doing, and what you're able to do. Where you think you're not doing enough, there's somebody that may be looking at you like you got it all together. You may be looking at them like they got it all together, but you don't know what they went through to get there. And in most cases, if they've been through something serious, you definitely don't want to do that type of work. You know what I mean? You see somebody riding around a Mercedes-Benz, don't start asking questions why they got it and you don't. They have it because they have it. You don't because you don't.
Yeah, just figure out how you gonna create your system that leads to your Mercedes.
Right. Look, yeah, Keontae on here. What's good, bro? But look,
What's up?
it's the simple fact that, you know, and this is one that I've always heard. Not to get too churchy, but heck, it's Sunday, so why not? I remember this one evangelist saying, "You saying that you want this, you want that," and she gave an example like, you see somebody with a brand new car, Mercedes Benz or whatever, you know, a Lexus, and you sitting there going like, well, "God, I want a Lexus," and then you don't get it and you mad. You know why you didn't get it? In some cases, you don't need that. Maybe the best thing you can manage right now is the little hoopty you got. Maybe the best thing you can manage right now is like something simple, you know, like Toyota or Ford. Maybe the best thing for you right now, because you're not thinking about it because you want more, is what you got.
That sounds like some expectations versus reality talk right there.
Yes, sir. Look, but that's the thing, because and sometimes here's the kicker. Sometimes they'll say this like, sometimes God will let you get exactly what you want, and you'll still end up mad because whatever that thing is going to mess around and hurt your feelings because you weren't ready for it. And sometimes you just got to be shown that you're not ready for it. And I can speak to that because that's happened to me. You know what I'm saying? I've been in situations where I thought, oh, you know, this is what I need. I need this in my life. I need this. Look, get it, and then I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't have any idea on how to handle it, deal with it, anything.
I got a challenge for y'all. You can do it or not. Ain't nobody giving y'all no money to do it.
Right.
Hopefully it makes you richer. Or more rich in life.
Excuse me.
I don't know whose plans I'm interrupting.
Right.
This is especially dedicated to the people who lack direction and not really sure how they want to move in this year and beyond. I challenge you all. I'm challenging everybody regardless, but I challenge y'all to look at all the things you want to do this year. Decide which one is the most important.
Emphasis on the word one.
Emphasis on the word one. Because something has to be more important than something else.
Right.
I challenge y'all to clear your board of everything except that one thing.
That's heavy.
Take that one thing, break it down into some smaller pieces that are easier to achieve.
Right.
Actionable steps. Try to accomplish that this year. And see how far you get. Come back to me and let me know what that looks like next year. I'll footnote this pod too, just for the sake of bringing it back and saying I told you so or whatever. But try that.
Just to see what it's like.
See what it's like. See what happens.
Right.
Eliminate the need to stretch yourself so thin. There's going to be somebody in the audience and say, well, I don't know how to decide which one is the most important, what takes the most priority. I'm going to put it to you like this. Of all the things that you have in mind to accomplish this year, which one would personally
work for you?
Not even that. Which one would personally upset you the most if you didn't accomplish?
Okay.
What would hurt your feelings the most
if you don't accomplish?
Or piss you, make you angry, make you sad? Look at it like that.
The thing you feel like you absolutely need to achieve.
The thing that will hurt, that will really do something to you if you don't get it this year. What is that one thing?
Right. And just make that determination.
And if you can't do that, I'll go one step further. If somebody pointed a damn gun to your head, because we got to do this with some of y'all asses. If somebody pointed a gun to your head, if this was a matter of life and death, what is the thing that you are going to choose?
That's a heavy one. I ain't gonna lie. Because
what is the so thing?
Many things. Like, man.
Whatever that thing is, that is the one thing that I challenge you to take on this year and do.
So basically, that's your assignment. That's your assignment.
That's assignment.
All right.
You can do or not do with this information. Do what you will with it. Take that one thing you hold the most nearest and dearest to your motherfucking heart. We gotta go that far with y'all.
You sound like a parent.
Okay? Take that thing, and I need you to make it as easy as you can. Example, if you want to lose 50 pounds, you know enough to know you can't lose 50 pounds tomorrow.
Right.
Break it down as fine as you want to. Break it down by day, break it down by week. It's simple math. Division, subtraction, however you want to do it.
Just however you want to work at, whatever works for you. And that's the main thing that we want to emphasize is that everybody has their own way of engaging in things. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Don't look to somebody else's method to be your method automatically, because in some cases it may not work.
If yours ain't working, though, if your method ain't working,
determine what you need to do to get it to work.
Get out your ego.
Mm-hmm.
And like my bro said, determine what you need to do to make it work or find another way.
Right.
Stop being so hard-headed. If your way ain't working, clearly your way ain't it. Sorry, not sorry. Do something else.
Right.
Make it easy. Make it easy.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Because as long as you progress and it don't matter how hard or easy, you are moving forward. And that is the goal, to move forward. Pick one thing.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like, for real. Never think that you have to burn yourself out in order to be validated in what it is you do.
Sidebar, y'all. If y'all ever wonder, because sometimes we take suggestions, at least when y'all share them with us, right, for podcasts.
Yeah.
And but most of the time, either I or NeRo pick what the topic is. You can usually tell who's leading what topic by how we feel about the things and the stuff we contribute to it.
That's super facts, though.
If NeRo is more hype in the conversation, it's probably his topic.
Yeah.
If I'm more hype in the conversation, it's probably my topic.
Even though this is something that I think, affect us both.
Oh, it's universal for sure. Most of our topics are. We try to keep it universal with y'all.
And we usually discuss it to some extent. Like, ironically enough, we kind of did it different this time. Like, we didn't really go too far in depth with each other prior to the podcast.
Nah, usually we have our own little
deep dive or whatever.
Yeah, we have our own little deliberation, if you will.
Right.
But
this wasn't the case. This wasn't that case.
Yeah,
so, it was different.
And we ain't gonna beat a dead horse. My main thing is I want y'all to choose one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just choose one thing
and beat that one thing.
Make it simpler. Choose that one thing and make it simpler than what it is. Think about the micro steps that formulate the goal. If you want to lose weight, like I said before, say you want to lose 50 pounds. Obviously, you can't start with losing 50 pounds tomorrow. Break it down. An easy way to break it down is subtract or divide up whatever it is.
Yes.
So maybe that becomes 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Mm-hmm. Make it palatable. Make it easier for you to look at.
Look into the average times things take too.
Yes.
Don't just go off of your own unrealistic timetable. Look into the averages. A lot of things we have figured out when it comes to the average of getting certain tasks done.
Because sometimes you'll psych yourself out, and then you'll get mad and disrespect and disappointed in yourself, thinking that I should have been at this point. I should have been here,
and you don't even realize that you're being unrealistic, and that's why you're not where you're at. I'm gonna tell y'all, especially. I use weight as an example because it's a simple example that most people usually yearn for that people can also understand.
Right.
And I say that to say, let's just say you want to lose 20 pounds. You know how many people that lost 20 pounds before?
Right.
You can literally look up what the average amount of time to lose 20 pounds healthy and get an answer that's good enough for you to use as a rubric.
Right.
And then from there, create your timetable based off realistic and average times.
Right. Workshop it.
Yeah.
Workshop it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Google's your friend, bruh. Go on YouTube. Don't spend too much time on YouTube. But go on YouTube.
Right. Unless you listen to us, spend all the time you want, baby. Yeah.
Hey.
I ain't gonna say that. Let me chill.
But get you some education.
Right.
Talk to people.
Yeah.
Stop being scared, y'all. Talk to people.
Don't be afraid not to talk to nobody. Because it should never be that way anyway.
Look for people who did what you're trying to do already.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the most comfortable and easiest people to talk to.
Yes.
They can tell you from experience.
And one big thing I will say, because this is something that a lot of us don't do, is be willing to accept failures and mistakes.
And criticism.
Yes. And criticism of those failures and mistakes. Be willing to accept instruction. Be willing to accept criticism. Be willing to accept the fact that you are not going to succeed every time. And in fact, if it's something that you've never undertaken before, you might fail a lot.
Yeah.
You may fail a lot.
Because if it's something new to you, it's easy to
Right.
suggest that you might not know what you're doing, and that's okay.
Right.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Look, what I used to always say, ignorance is bliss, but intelligence is ecstasy.
Ooh.
Get what you need to achieve what you need.
Hey.
Because here's the thing. Shouldn't nothing in this world stop you from doing whatever it is you want to do? You know?
Right.
And you know, because realistically, we apply that mantra whenever we want something that ain't no good for us. You know, if it took you, like say we're doing losing weight, right? Because that's a big one for a lot of people. You got to think about it like this way. You may not think about it as work, but you did a lot of work to gain weight. All right. Either you or your thyroid did, or maybe both. Either way, it was a process. You didn't just pop out your mama's womb and be 200 pounds. All right. You ain't just pop out your mama's womb and be on my 600-pound life. That didn't happen. You developed that. You fed that. You allowed that thing to matriculate into something that now you cannot control, or you feel you are losing control of. So why on God's green earth would there ever be an occasion or a time where you could lose all of that like that? If you didn't gain it instantly, you're not going to lose it instantly.
Time.
Right.
Time.
Right.
Yo.
Cause and effects, costs and balances, all that. Like, and that's what you have to think about. If you screw up something, it took some time for you to mess it up as bad as it was to where you got sick of it.
Right. So at the very least, you're gonna have to at least take that much time to fix it.
That's
the baseline.
Right. That and by any measure
and
by any measurement of time, fixing the problem usually takes longer than causing the problem. Yep. Or than the problem becoming what it is.
Yeah, because a lot of problems start off as mistakes, unintentional.
Yes.
And so it requires time for that education, and then time to figure out what method you need to execute in order to accomplish solving whatever the issue is. So, you know, don't be so hard on yourselves. For real. If we all had it figured out, we'd all have it figured out and it'd be that easy. But it ain't. And that's okay.
Right.
Just don't keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and stop stretching yourself thin. You're only human.
Yeah.
You weren't meant to just do everything like that. You're not God. You're not Superman.
Right.
So why are you putting that kind of pressure onto you?
And
neither is anybody else. So don't worry about what they think, because they ain't that person either.
Nope. And if you look at them, they may have some things that they need to refresh and fix in their lives. But Paris Love said, honey, I'm on a fast and dieting. The struggle is real, but it does feel good. And you know what? Feeling good is your first benefit.
Man.
Waking up one day and your knees don't hurt.
I know a decent bit about fasting and that whole.
And consistency is everything. There it is. One more time for the people in the back. Consistency is everything. That is so true.
In order to get that consistency, you got to make it easy and you got to make it comfortable.
Yeah.
Because the real trick to consistency is autonomy. It has to be mindless.
Absolutely.
And then that's when you create routines.
And you know what? The other part about it is And I constantly reference this from like a book that I use for like work. Is there's two things that you give yourself praise for. It's praise for being and praise for doing. Praise for being is giving yourself praise and adulation for just existing, for making it another day through life as you, for just being you. Praise for doing is giving yourself praise and adulation for actually achieving something. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing in the world. It doesn't have to be your greatest achievement. Sometimes it can be you doing 10 sit-ups where you didn't yesterday. That is something that is still worthy of praise. Absolute victory is not a requirement for personal praise and appreciation. It's great when you do, but that's not always going to be your reality. Sometimes you have to praise yourself for the little stuff. Look, in video games, what do you usually have in video games? You have a point A and a point B, right? That you usually need to get to. You have an objective, right? But what else do you have? In some of them that involve a journey, that involve going somewhere, finding something, you have checkpoints, which means that even if you fail, you don't go all the way back to point A. You go back to the checkpoint, which means what? In your mind, it's okay. I fell off. Yeah, I fell off. I screwed up. I goofed up. I can take that. But I made it this far. And if I made it this far, guess what? I can do a little bit more.
Yeah, y'all. I like that checkpoint.
Yes, sir.
Point. Just because you mess up doesn't mean you have to start all the way over.
No, and it doesn't mean you got to lay there and be mad either, because we do that too.
A lot of y'all do have that. You know, a lot of us. Let's speak correctly. A lot of us have that. It's all ruined kind of mindset.
Oh my God, I screwed it up. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Look, bro. Yeah, you're right. You stupid. You know why you stupid? Because you're sitting there moping about it, not because you screwed up. You're stupid because you're still sitting in it. Go deal with it. Go do something about it. If you're so mad, go do something about it. You know, sitting there cursing yourself for something that ain't even worth you being mad about is not going to do you any good. You know? Because let's be honest, most of the time we curse ourselves for stuff that don't even hold weight like that. We literally will curse ourselves for stuff that we shouldn't even be hurting ourselves for, you know? And you just like, why are you even mad? Yes, you made a mistake. And yes, that should be understood and that should be validated. But at the end of the day, man, you're flawed just like everybody else. Mistakes come standard. Mistakes come, look, I don't know how many times I say it. Mistakes come standard. It's part of life. If you ain't willing to accept mistakes, you ain't willing to accept life for what it is. You're not willing to accept reality. Because your reality is you're going to mess up. The only difference between you and somebody who you think doesn't mess up is they've learned either how to cover those mistakes up or how to flip those mistakes into something they can use. Because honestly, when you play music, it's the same thing. You know how many times somebody probably messes up when they play keys, play the drums, play anything else, and you don't notice it. They know. You don't notice it because they find a way to work it in, right? They find a way to make use of the mistake. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to do because, like you said, first off, don't worry about what anybody says anyway. Two, if you are worried about what anybody says, guess what? Here's a big secret. Most of the time, people don't know that you messed up until you show them, until you make it known that you made a huge mistake. Most of the time, they're not worried about that. Half the time, we make it so obvious that, yeah, people are going to judge you because you opened the door for it to happen. You open the door for judgment. You put yourself out, as you said, the court of popular opinion. Paris Love said, right, being hard and verbally abusive or emotionally abusive to yourself is not healthy. Self-acceptance, absolutely. And there are so many, like there was a guy I used to deal with that he was like that. He was hard on himself. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that there are certain cases where you do need to be hard on yourself. If sugarcoating things or maybe not being as harsh or dogmatic towards yourself about something has not worked, then maybe you do need a little bit of personal tough love. You know, if that's your struggle, that's your struggle. And I think for this particular individual, he felt that that was his because this had been an ongoing set of mistakes for him. This had been an ongoing thing where he was making errors. He was messing up. He was, you know, he felt he was hurting himself, you know? So as a result, he thought that, you know, he wasn't doing enough, that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't effective enough in whatever it was he was doing. So instead, even when he did good, he'd be like, well, yeah, I did all right with this, but, you know, it wasn't like that. Like, case in point, this dude used to legitimately tell me, he'd be like, hey, man, I messed up on my budget. I'm like, okay, how'd you mess up? It's like, well, I spent a little bit of extra money on some Taco Bell. I'm thinking this dude gonna tell me that he went over his budget by $100 or something. No, he was coming at himself for spending an extra $7 at a fast food joint. Now, how many of us is really gonna realistically be like, dang, dog, I'm messing up. I shouldn't have did that. You know? But for him, that was his accountability. That was his way of holding himself to the fire and being like, hey, man, you know what you're trying to do. You know what type of money you're trying to make. You know what type of moves you're trying to make. This is not something you need, right? So he's addressing it. And not only is he addressing it, he's making it a point to address it to someone else who can hold him accountable for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
I'm glad you told that story.
Yeah.
The end of there was something. That's another tool right there, y'all.
Right.
An accountability partner. People typically only talk about it when it comes to like weight loss.
Yeah.
But you can use accountability partners in so many other facets of goal setting and achievement.
Right.
Keontae said exactly. People just don't know for real. One of the things that impacts so many people that they are consumed by what they see on social media.
Oh God, yes.
Paris Love said accountability is everything, and that's how you grow and learn. And she also agrees with Keontae.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that social media validation, they got y'all high, y'all be seeing people and stuff, you know, doing stuff. Hell, I was seeing that the other day. I was just like, man, I seen somebody on social media. I just seen one of those, I think it was like a Black Love post or something like that.
Right.
And it was a couple getting their house. And I was like, you know what? One of these days, that's going to be me in my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With my wife and, you know, kids and all of that. You know, I even called myself, I was like, man, I'm getting sick of seeing it. You know how we do.
You're like, man, look, I used to get so mad. I'd be like, man, these people out here graduating, getting houses, getting cars, doing all this stuff. I'm like, dang, where's mine at?
And not even necessarily hating, but just coming to the realization sometimes that it's just like, you know what?
Where you lacking?
Yeah, you like, I need to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do more.
The big question is, at what point did their struggle become yours? Okay, like at what point realistically did your life and livelihood become inexorably attached to being as good as somebody else? At what point did that happen? At what point did you get to the point where you will literally fall over and die? Because sometimes you have to be that literal, where you will literally drop dead if you aren't doing as good as brother man down the street.
Yeah, man. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
And social media gave us the opportunity to to have a window to other people's lives so easily. You know, the term keeping up with the Joneses has existed for a long time. But you know how much harder it was for people to keep up with the Joneses probably like 40, 50 years ago? They didn't know what the Joneses were doing unless they were your neighbors.
Right.
Now you know what everybody on the block is doing. You know what the people on the east side of town doing, the west side of town doing. You know what I'm saying? You know what people in other cities, states, countries are doing. It's that easy for us to be that much more in tune with what everybody else is doing. It's so much easier with social media to not mind your own damn business.
Thank you.
You know, it's literally my life, your entertainment.
Yeah.
You watch it while I live it.
Right.
So,
and it's like, at what point are we taking a moment to address the fact that that's their life?
Yeah,
that's their experience.
When are you gonna stop living vicariously through others?
Right.
When are you gonna stop being so distracted?
Yes.
By other people's lives that you can't maintain focus on your own.
Because I guarantee you, they are not worried about you.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, that is the root of what the hell we talking about.
And you know what the biggest thing about it is? You know what you realize when you are busy? Guess what you don't have time? Guess what you don't have? You don't have time.
Nope.
And when you don't have time, guess what you can't do? You can't worry about stuff. Because if you worry about stuff, it wastes what? Time. It wastes time.
Well, you definitely can't worry about other people's stuff.
Right. You can worry about your own. But that's about all that you have energy for, realistically, So I mean, I mean, what are you gonna do?
That's why, don't get it confused. Sometimes people get mad when you tell them they're busy. But what you really communicating is just that, you know what? The way I spend my time, I care more about the things that I feel are most important to me.
Right.
It's that simple.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Be mindful, though, that, any human being that has companions, friends, significant others, husbands, wives, kids,
right,
that somewhere in there, you still do have to make time for social interaction.
Right. Because it's healthy.
It's healthy. And if you want to talk about things that are recreational, and by social interaction, I mean in person, not social media, because that ain't the same fucking thing.
Right.
I don't care how many emojis you send, how many times you FaceTime a motherfucker or hop on Duo, it ain't the same. Okay? Make sure that you make some time in there to have real human interaction.
Right.
In line with the COVID protocols and that bullshit, I gotta say that too.
Yeah. Don't be walking out here giving yourself a death wish.
Gotta say that shit too.
We want you to live your life, not die for it. Be realistic about what you. And that's the other thing. Just be realistic about what you can and can't do. Right.
And be mindful that when you deal with people who respect time, respect their own time, they'll also respect yours too.
Right.
Because I tell you right now, man. Sometimes it's okay. This ain't the most popular thing to say because a lot of people don't like to say it out loud because it sounds a kind of way. But if that means you have to schedule time with people, do that too.
I mean, that's fine.
Because it's better than no time at all. And sometimes things be that important.
Right.
You ain't got to be a CEO to do that neither. If somebody had a problem with that, tell them to fuck off.
For real. Tell them the DarksKing told you to say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I don't care. Shit. But, because remember, it's your time. And sometimes other people don't value that.
No.
It's okay to do that. I believe in that. It is very okay to do that.
Right.
If folks have a problem with it, that's their own issue. You're trying to get shit done.
Right.
Sometimes you ain't got time to indulge. And that's okay. So as long as the time that you aren't using to indulge, you are using to be productive in a healthy manner that's stimulating to not only you, but the goals and things that you want to accomplish. And I mean, for the most part, that's really all I got to say on it for now.
Yeah.
We don't want to belabor the point too much. I think for the most part, or at least I hope for the most part, y'all get the gist. Lower your expectations. Stop stretching yourself thin.
Right.
Try to accomplish one big thing at a time by breaking it down into smaller pieces. You will feel more fulfilled. The things that you do get accomplished because you prioritize them will be more important and fulfilling to your life as an individual. And the more focused that you are, the less time that you will spend. Hence, the more that you will be able to add things to your plate at a time. It's like a conveyor belt.
Right.
It's one thing after another. You can't just drop everything. You will overload the conveyor belt, cause the machine to fuck up. We've all seen it happen. One thing at a time. Get one thing done at a time. Move on. Make it as easy as possible.
Right.
It'll be easier to focus. Prioritize your time that you spend doing it so you can spend less time doing it and get more things accomplished in the long run.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got.
I mean, I feel that. And the only thing I'll leave y'all with is just always know that your time is valuable.
That's right.
And beyond that, nobody should be appraising your time but you. Because people are always going to appraise it at a different value than you. You know, you have to let people, and the thing is, you have to be intentional.
Should have had the sound bar.
Look, using them preacher words. Using them church words. You have to be intentional about what you do and say. Be intentional about how much your time is worth. Because if you don't, somebody will define it for you. Somebody will appraise it for you. Somebody will pull out the proverbial scouter and be like, all right, you worth this much. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna mess around and tell you what you're worth, and you don't want that. Let them know what your time is worth, whether that's monetarily if you got a business, or whether it's just mental. You know, whether it's just a thing where you like, look, bro, I can't be out here doing this, that, and the third with you because I have things I need to go do. You know, ain't no shame in that. There is no shame in that. There's no shame in telling somebody, hey, look, this ain't for me right now. Y'all can have fun, whatever, you know. And that's the other thing. Don't judge nobody for how they spend their time. Just make it clear that that's not how you want to spend your time. That's okay. You know, nothing wrong with that.
Different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely. But we ain't gonna belabor the point. I know we said we weren't gonna be on here long, but life happens. Anyway, this is the Black in a Minute podcast, once again sponsored by Twyman Art.
Yes.
We appreciate every single last one of y'all taking out your time to focus
on us. Right.
You know?
Come on.
That's a little Cedric, you know. But in general, all we want you to do is make the best use of the time that you got on this earth, because we don't get it back.
Right.
For real.
Right.
We want you to live the best quality of life humanly possible.
And if you don't have to regret too much,
that's great.
That too.
That's great. So, yeah, we want you to know that we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share to your friends.
Buy a t-shirt. Buy a hoodie.
Buy our stuff. Anyway, sorry, that was aggressive. Please forgive me. Please buy our stuff. And if you can't do that, send us some donations.
I look, bro. Why was I looking for some paper? I was like, damn.
Donations.
We gotta keep some computer paper in this bitch somewhere.
We need donations.
So that should be easy.
I sound desperate, but thank you. I hope you have a good evening as well, Paris. We appreciate you popping on.
Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight,
because we know that your time is valuable.
Yes.
We know that your valuables are valuable.
Woo-woo.
And we have valuables we want to sell you that we hope that you think is valuable and that you spend money on. But
help us fight that algorithm.
For real.
Help us get bigger.
Please,
so tell more people about what y'all getting. This game is free right now.
We can only reach out to so many people, but y'all can reach out to so many more. We're not saying you absolutely have to, but if you do, it is greatly appreciated.
Share it with a friend.
And because we're still low key and y'all are basically our inner circle, you will get shouted out for it. Because we cool like that.
Mm-hmm.
We will be extra and we will love on you from a computer screen. You're gonna get a virtual hug. But
man,
let me chill. But anyway, man. You're gonna
get cyber attacked.
Right. Look, you know what? Hey, that's something we can appreciate today. We ain't getting no bugs this time. We ain't getting no spam weirdos. That didn't happen today. Almost every live stream we've had one of those little bots saying weird Nazi stuff on here. That hasn't happened yet. Look, knock on wood.
We're gonna soon have moderators, y'all.
Yep.
Stay on the lookout.
Some of y'all might end up being the moderators.
Yep. Be on the lookout for that.
Except for Javar. Like, Javar's kind of the reason we need one. But no cap. This man just doing everything but the most. But anywho, we do love you and we appreciate you. Peace out. I've been NeRo AnGeLo.
I go by the DarksKing Poet. That's DarksKing with a G on the end.
All right, and peace out.
Power.
Yeah. I don't know what that looked like. Oh, that don't look right. Yeah. Had to make
Did
it
the
this look
Scary
right.
Movie 2 hand.
No, the little.
Did
Yeah.
the damn turkey in the dressing and shit. Hey.
No,